Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Here's your 1010XL local sports updates, sponsored by YMCA of Florida's First Coast. Florida football is set to bring in New York Giants Director of Strength and Performance Craig Fitzgerald to replace Mark Halke as the head of the team's strength and conditioning program. Head coach Billy Napier mentioned that he expected a change of leadership in that department. FSU QB Tate Rodemaker has decided to enter the transfer portal. When asked about it, Mike Norvell spoke about how excited he was for Brock Glenn to take the next step. Florida State football released its depth chart ahead of its Orange Bowl matchup against Georgia. 3 more players have been ruled out, while Georgia has reportedly up to 20 players in the transfer portal. No player has opted out for the bowl game. They are still eligible to play. Bulldogs are listed as a 16.5-point favorite. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
All right, we are off. High noon in Duval. Hacker After Dark into the night with Rick Ballou. And I tell you what, I am feeling a tremendous amount of energy oozing through the headset here at high noon. Typically, I'm just starting my second cup of coffee. Usually roll out around 11:30. So repeat after me. Rise and shine. Let's get after it. Let's tackle the day. Just after high noon, I am Rick Ballou. The show is produced by R.J. Saunders. Hacker Nation is back. Day 2. How you feeling?
I'm good. You know, coming out during the daytime was a little odd to you and I think. You're 6 to 8, I'm 8 to 10 normally, but happy to be here to close out the new year. And look, now all eyes turn to the Carolina Panthers, the 2-13 Carolina Panthers who come to Jacksonville for Fan Appreciation Day on Sunday.
I'm talking Tom Coughlin. I'm talking Dom Capers.
Yeah.
Have we ever confirmed, is it a squirrel, a raccoon, I don't know, a New York City rat, a New York City subway rat that has been permanently placed on the head of Dom Capers? Do we know?
I don't know, but I hear what you're saying.
That may be the worst toupee in the history of toupees. Why do people go with toupees? It's never to be inadequate to other dudes, right? It's got to be to pick up chicks. I mean, is there any other reason why you would ever have a toupee?
No, I can't think of one. Now, I shave my head, so hopefully I'll never have that problem.
And you're happily married with a gorgeous wife and a sweet little kid. But I'm just talking about in general, if you're going the route of a toupee.
Yeah, there are some great toupees, though, and certainly Dom Capers would probably register that.
Yeah, 1995, Carolina came into the league the same year Jacksonville did. Back then, you had different rules as far as the expansion draft and obviously free agency. And what happened a year later, 1996, both the Jaguars and the Panthers would go to the AFC and NFC championship game, respectively. Here we are now, 25, 26 years later, I guess 27 years later, and, Carolina's where Jacksonville was a couple of years ago. The Jaguars won the AFC South. They're trying to do the same thing, and the question is, can they win a home ball game? They're only 2-5 here at the bank.
2-5 here at Everbank Stadium. 3 of those 5 losses have been bad losses, blowout fashion. Houston, San Francisco, and Baltimore. We talk about Fan Appreciation Day. Well, the Jaguars need to appreciate their fans and give them a victory this Sunday because it has been a lot of disappointment leaving Everbank Stadium. And as far as Carolina goes, look, the worst team in football, 2-13 on the year, yet they are playing better. They knocked off Atlanta 2 weeks ago. They put 30 on Green Bay in a losing effort. We're going to go to Charlotte in about an hour. Mike Kay, Charlotte Observer, formerly First Coast News here in Jacksonville, to talk about Carolina. And look, they got to be having all sorts of questions up there about Bryce Young. What you see, what C.J. Stroud is doing, Anthony Richardson before he got hurt, even Will Levis. Bryce Young certainly coming under a lot of scrutiny, and it's going to be Bryce Young maybe versus Trevor Lawrence, a battle of number one picks on Sunday.
Yeah, and you mentioned C.J. Stroud. Apparently he's going to practice today, trying to get himself fully removed out of the concussion protocol, similar to a week ago here with Trevor Lawrence. And if that is the case, certainly that'll help things out a great deal for Houston. We'll take a look at the playoff run here. As you know, only 2 games do remain. Las Vegas played some really good football this past week, as we did see, against the Raiders. They go to Indianapolis, and then you talk about the Houston Texans. Yes, a divisional matchup. They wrap up that way with 2 straight AFC South opponents. This Sunday, they will host Tennessee. Then, of course, next week, they get that matchup against Indianapolis. It really doesn't matter as long as Jacksonville takes care of their own. They got to win this Sunday against Carolina, then turn around and go to Nashville next Sunday and win that football game.
Something to think about. The NFL put clinching scenarios out for this Sunday, and you're right. If Jacksonville beats Carolina, and if Indy and Houston both lose, Jacksonville wins the AFC South on Sunday. But think about this for a moment. If Jacksonville's skid continues and Carolina comes in here and wins, and both Houston and Indy win on Sunday, Jacksonville would effectively be eliminated from winning the AFC South.
I just can't make a case for Carolina, and I know that we're all wondering about the AC joint and whether or not Trevor Lawrence is going to play, and I'm starting to see Rappaport and some others kind of the down slope. Well, they did the same thing last week with the concussion. I mean, I'm convinced that until I actually do see it, Trevor Lawrence is going to go out there and play. He's gone through a knee. He's gone through an ankle, which I thought was the worst of the 4. Obviously, I cannot speak on a concussion and how significant that was. But last week at this time, that was in doubt. Even Thursday, when I got off the air, it was like 7 or 8 minutes after the show had ended for me, and Rappaport came out with that tweet stating that if you don't practice Wednesday and Thursday in the NFL, chances are you're not going to play on that coming Sunday. And, of course, Lawrence did go out and play anyway. So, yeah, I'm a believer that this is a tough guy, and he's going to play this football game against Carolina. But the problem lies with the turnovers, okay? And the problem lies with just how awful they have been on third down and the fact they can't run the ball. Hacker, they have 19 points scored in the last 2 games.
Yeah, it's been awful. They haven't run the ball. They haven't tried to run the ball. They gave ETN 6 carries out of the backfield last week. Here's my thing with Trevor Lawrence, and you and I spoke about this a little bit yesterday as well. It's one thing to be tough, and Trevor has proven he's tough. I'm almost tired of having that conversation because what good is it if you're tough if you go out there and the offense doesn't do anything? The talk last week was concussion this, concussion that, protocol. They go out there, you snap your fingers, and it's 30-0 Tampa Bay. You know, maybe whether you're tough or not, that's fine and well, and that's a nice backstory. They need to find a way on Sunday to have more points in Carolina. And whether that's with an AC joint issue with Trevor Lawrence or a healthy C.J. Beathard, or maybe they want to go get Todd Bauman in off the tractor. I don't care what they do. They need to find a way to have more points than Carolina and end this 4-game streak because, again, the worst team in football is coming into your house on Sunday, and I have no confidence right now that Jacksonville is going to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's noble when you go out there and you play every week, but I also think you have to look at it this way. And I know I'm in the minority, and I'm going to say it anyway. I've been saying it for decades. I thought Cal Ripken was selfish when he had the consecutive game streak. There were certain nights at the ball yard that Cal Ripken showed up, and you knew he was going to go 0 for 4, and you knew he was going to give you nothing. But selfishly, he had that streak going, and people looked at it and said, my goodness, look at this man. He is the Iron Horse. He shows up. He plays every day. I think COVID taught us a lot, okay? In 30-plus years, I bet I've taken 5 days off in my life that were truly sick days. And then we learned, well, don't be an idiot here. If you're sick and you have COVID, don't bring it into the office. Don't get everyone else sick, okay? You're not that good. Take a day off, okay? And the same thing can be applied now, whether it's Trevor Lawrence or anyone else. Brandon Sheriff's a guy I would look at who's not even on the injury report, who in my eyes has clearly been hurt. I mean, it feels like every possession, it takes him an extra 7, 8, 10 seconds to get up off the ground. It's remarkable as to how tough he is, and he played through the core injury a year ago. But I do think there are times when if you're far less than 100%, giving the effort is one thing, but you have to ask yourself, in the manner you are in, are you hurting the club more than you are helping the club?
That's one thing the Jaguars are going to have to answer this week. And keep in mind, too, a knee is one thing, an ankle is one thing, a concussion and the protocol is one thing. He's a quarterback, and this is a shoulder. All right, this is much different than the other ones. Can you move around? Can you physically protect yourself? That was the issue with the ankle and the knee. Can you pass the NFL-sanctioned concussion protocol? This is about throwing the football as a quarterback. And if your shoulder with a sprain, we don't know if he's going to practice today or not. Doug Peterson, we'll see what happens here in the coming hours once they get on the field. But this is about throwing the ball. Can you functionally throw the ball as an NFL quarterback, which is certainly one of the bigger issues we've had with Trevor and these injury concerns this year. One quick thought on Carolina coming in. Bryce Young probably had his best game as a pro last week. Threw for 312 yards, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions. Look, I'm not trying to put lipstick on a mule. It has not been a good year for Bryce Young, nor it has been a good year for the Carolina Panthers. But this is a Carolina team that's playing hard for their interim coach. They're playing a wounded Jacksonville team. And I want to pump the brakes on people thinking this is going to be an easy game on Sunday, because I think the Jaguars have proven over the last month that anything is going to be far from easy for them.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, but I'm going to stay with it. I got nothing to lose, okay? I think they win this game. I think they win it handily over the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. They're a 6.5-point favorite. The total is very low. It's among the lowest we've seen this year in the NFL, down to 37 in some circles. It's fascinating that we analyze it and the fans love to talk about it. We get so not confused, but we want to know who calls the plays, who says what, how much is Press Taylor, how much is Doug Peterson, Billy Napier have any help at Florida, who's calling the plays at Florida State, is Alex Atkins involved with Mike Norvell's play call? So much of that is a major talking point, and certainly that applies right now when we discuss Press Taylor. What I don't think we give enough credence to is the calls that are changed in-game at the line of scrimmage. And that is the comfort level you have in your quarterback, the autonomy of a man like Trevor Lawrence. Is he allowed to change the play each and every down? Our understanding is, yes. If Trevor sees something, call it. Doug Peterson talked about it this week. Both interceptions in the first half. Play calls were changed at the line of scrimmage. Now, routes weren't run the right way, or there was miscommunication, or whatever it may be, you're not on the same page. And this is week 16 in the NFL. That can't happen in college football. It's happening now in the NFL. So I almost feel as though this may be one of the biggest stories ongoing with the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, is he making the right decisions at the line of scrimmage? And is the rest of the team around him aware of the change that he has made at the line of scrimmage?
And it's almost a constant. When that call comes in, I mean, how many times on Sunday when the game was still in question did you hear Trevor go kill, 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 and do an audible at the line? And like you said, the two interceptions were apparently a result of wide receivers not hearing or not seeing the signal that Trevor was giving them at the line. So I would go with the play that's called with this offense, which includes an undrafted rookie in Elijah Cooks, a sixth-round rookie in Parker Washington. It's one thing to change the play at the line with Kirk and Zay and Ridley and experienced guys out there. You got a lot of young guys out there which aren't getting the signals, which apparently was part of the problem last week. Quickly, Rick, Cam Robinson's 21-day window was indeed opened today, as Doug Peterson mentioned yesterday. Maybe he'll be back in the lineup on Sunday. And does Matt Barkley do anything for you? That kind of caught me off guard, I guess. The Jaguars go out and sign the former Southern Cal quarterback, Matt Barkley, off the Giants practice squad late last evening.
No, it does nothing for me at all. A 2013 draft pick. I believe this is either his 10th or 11th team.
It is crazy, yeah.
In the NFL, which to me says he's got to be a good guy and a good teammate. Because you can look at it two ways. You can say, oh, my God, he goes from stop to stop to stop to stop. No one wants him. Okay, yeah, but he's a backup quarterback. If he keeps finding jobs, obviously his reputation is He works well with the starting quarterback. He works well with the team, and that's why they brought him in. Yeah, that may be the one underlying factor with all of the injuries that we have seen with Trevor Lawrence, the fact that they did clearly bring in a veteran this week to obviously be there with C.J. Beathard could be telling. All right, opening comments today and each and every day brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. They're a family organization. They focus on personal, high-quality medical and surgical eye care. It's all about the family, and it's all about the trust. Listen, I can't say enough about Shmunez, all right? 8.5 years ago, they found something in my eye that had to be removed immediately, okay? Surgically, Dr. Neil Shmunez got it out of there. There's never been any setbacks. Every time I go just for a normal checkup, an eye examination, it's perfect, and that's what you need. There are so many problems that you could have. Ask yourself, eyes early in the morning compared to eyes when you get home at night. All right, fatigue sets in. Old age comes to us all. Cataract issues, maybe blurriness, or dizziness, headaches, whatever it may be. It could be your eyes. There's so many different ways to look at it. I just want you to check out their website because it's fantastic. Go to shmunezvision.com. That's shmunezvision.com. They are your one stop for anything that is your eyes, from your grandparents to your grandkids. Check out the good folks at shmunezvision.com. All right, we got plenty to do here over the next 3 hours. As Hacker said, we'll go to Carolina in hour number 2. We'll also check in with former Jaguar Cecil Shorts in our second hour. Right now, the best opportunity for you to join us is to get us on the text line. That is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. A ton to do today on the Jaguars. Also want to talk some college football. These big games are sneaking up on us, coming up on Monday, not to mention the Canes actually play tomorrow. Florida State, Georgia on Saturday, so some college football coming up as well.
3 ladies.
Lauren, Taylor, and Mia.
3 opinions. 3 times the fun.
Some girls have all the fun.
Helmets and heels. Driven by Tire Outlet.
And presented by Underwood Jewelers.
And First Coast Lighting and Fans. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010XL.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have